Do you feel the stigma is on the cusp of change?
Yes, and I do, and I think that the young of Catherine's age are very much the drivers of it. I'm very active on social media, and I've worked with Time to Change and Depression Alliance to try and alleviate some of the stigma and just have a conversation. And the young, they are very, very active in saying, I'm willing to stand up, I'm willing to speak out about my mental health, and that certainly has been an inspiration to me to be able to speak out. I spoke out as a footballer 14, 15 years ago, but it's the young that are driving the change.
You remarked, as we watched that, about the figure on people reluctance to speak to employers, basically. Half of people basically said they wouldn't mention it. I don't know, maybe people wouldn't talk about their physical health to employers as well, but...
Agreed, but that's the real worry, because I think that there is an ongoing conversation, like I say, particularly on social media, with the young having a chat to each other and saying, look, these are my experiences, you are not alone. And for an illness like depression, people that do struggle with it, it is an isolating illness. You withdraw. So anything where you can engage in a conversation is a very positive thing. But I have noticed, and when I speak to a lot of people, and people will come up to me on the street and say, my auntie, uncle, brother, sister struggle. They take holidays. They will take their 2-week annual holiday and they will have counselling. And in United Kingdom law, those that struggle with mental health issues, like physical health issues, are protected. So there should not be this stigma. They should be able to go to their boss. They should be able to speak out and feel like a natural, normal human being that just has a mental health issue rather than a physical one. You
work on Talk Sport, don't you? We heard
I do.
Alan Brazil not being hugely sympathetic in the case of Robin Williams. What do you make of that?
Well, I let Alan know via social media how disappointed I was, particularly because one of the other shows that I do during the week, we engaged with Time to Change and we spoke to football managers, cricketers, about their mental health issues, and Time to Change sponsored the programme. Alan is a product of his time, and I think that one of the issues for me, I was saying about the young, the sort of dichotomy of being young is they're the most difficult to get into because they're Teflon. They feel as if they're never going to be affected by mental health issues potentially. But Alan is a product of his time that believes that you pull your socks up, you roll your sleeves up, that British spirit, conservatism with a small c, and you just get on with it. And unfortunately, the world isn't flat anymore. And I did let Alan know that.
Now, you've had some grief on social media, haven't you? Give us an example of the kind of thing that people would write to you on Twitter.
Oh, you get all sorts. I mean, racial abuse. I mean, you do... Funnily enough...
that mental health stigma as opposed to any other...
Yes, I mean, I think that I mean, of course, if you are exposed on social media, then it has a propensity to affect your mental health. But I think that Alison Phillips of the Mirror, the bonkers, the lunatic, having a meltdown. I've been challenged by other people in the public arena that have profiles, and if I dare share an opinion, either it be about sport or anything else, he's having a meltdown. And those are the kind of things, you can't have a conversation without being seen to be a little bit of a loose cannon or a little bit, you know, off the wall. I contribute like everybody else. I miss the same kind of amount of days off work as everybody else. And just like people watching this, they are emboldened now to say enough's enough. I mean, ironically, Nick Clegg, it's conference season, talking about putting more funding into mental health services if the Lib Dems get into government. They've had 4 years. In real terms, it's gone down. So the notion that we were supposed to be on parity with physical health issues is a myth. So there's plenty of work to be done.
Can I ask you this? Because this is a tricky one, isn't it? Is some of the abuse you get related to the well-publicised domestic violence in the background that you might attribute to a mental health condition? In your case, what is it? Borderline personality disorder.
Depression and personality.
Because people might say, look, I want to stigmatise some of the behaviour that folks like you engage in, and I'm not going to let mental health be an excuse for that.
No, I don't think I ever have. I think that if
you
break the law, you break the law, and if you stand and have your day in court, everything is taken into consideration. I've never made an excuse for any of my.
So we can destigmatise the mental health without.
Of course, absolutely, because I mean, if you struggle with severe schizophrenia and it is a part of something that breaks the law, then it has to be taken into consideration. But I think if you struggle with mild or serious depression or a personality disorder, I think that most people just wanted to be treated normally in the workplace. They certainly never use it as an excuse.